Hey, this is Tyler, one of the hosts of RangerCast. On our show, we talk about Power Rangers and other multi-unit spandex heroes. We've got news, reviews, interviews. We talk about the comics, the games, the toys, and all things more phenomenal. Find us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or check us out at rangercast.net. May the power protect you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Anime Lounge podcast. I'm your host Lance, here with my other host Matt. Every episode we like to start off by introducing our adult beverages of choice. Today I am finishing a Monster and vodka, and I will be drinking a Northern Waters Double Barrel Spring Fever whiskey pretty quick after this. What about you, Matt?
You got a beer, or is that all you're drinking?
For this quick episode, I'm gonna stick with just these.
Okay, nice. I am not feeling 100%, so I'm gonna go with just straight, little bit of straight whiskey, the Journeyman's Distillery whiskey. If I'm not feeling great, I want to drink something good. So I was like, we'll just go with something good.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not feeling great, so I'll just stick to just a regular bit of whiskey. You know, no water or anything like that. Nothing to just keep me hydrated. Just
Well,
something
that's what
to
the Michelob
calm my
Ultra is
throat. Yeah, well, that's water.
So
Right.
yes, that's my water of choice is the Michelob.
Yeah, it's a watered down kind of beer, but I still enjoy a good Michelob.
You know, on the golf course or out on the beach, it's not a bad, just something nice and light.
Right? Yeah, it's light. That's pretty much it. All right, so Matt, everybody's here because they tapped on a very specific title. What are we covering today?
Yes, so we are going to be covering the final chapters, so the last two special episodes of Attack on Titan. However Crunchyroll got it laid out, or however you're watching it, it's going to be the last two episodes. The hour and then the hour and a half episodes are going to be what we're covering. And for anybody who hasn't watched the dubbed, because you're waiting for the dubbed since we got this out early because we were excited to talk about it, it's going to have lots of spoilers, and that's going to be what it is. Hopefully that makes you more excited by listening to this episode.
Right.
There was a lot to these two episodes.
Right, and you and I were just talking before we started recording that we looked into this. It's looking like the dub isn't going to come out until early 2024, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. I'm not finding anything like January 15th or anything like that, but that's just what I'm seeing. Really unfortunate for all the dubbed watchers.
Right. Yeah, we kind of got into a little bit of a routine with most normal anime where like an anime will get dubbed like 2-3 weeks behind its Japanese counterpart, and this one's gonna take a couple months.
Yeah, it really sucks, but maybe that's what you need to watch a subbed, because they did do the sub very well in this final two episodes.
Oh, for sure, this was amazing.
Yes, but before we get too far into this, you want to give us that Lance's lesson?
Today's Lance's Lessons is going to be the Japanese word for Titan, and that is Kyojin. Kyojin is spelled Kyojin, and Kyojin is obviously very relevant to today's episode because we're talking about Titans and the finale of Titans in general.
Yeah, because it's basically what the whole series was kind of building towards, which was either the destruction of humanity or the destruction of Titans. And in the very beginning, they wanted to destroy all Titans, and really, that's what they got. Like, without going too deep into it, that's exactly what they got.
Yep, all the way back in season 1, that was Aaron's number one goal, is he wanted to destroy and kill all Titans, and that's something we could talk about in a little bit.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to bring that full circle moment back.
Right, because I don't want to start talking too much about this because I want to see what your Matt's Manga Mentions has to say about any potential differences between the anime and the manga. You got anything for us?
Yes, actually, and there is a doozy. We'll put it that way.
Oh, for real? Like, I heard that there was definitely a different ending, but if it's a doozy, then now I'm very interested. NANI?
So, unfortunately, it's going to take a second for me to get there because I'm going to start from the beginning of part 1 of the 2-part final. For anybody who is curious and wants to start reading the final of Attack on Titan, it is chapter 131 and it goes to 134. So, 5 chapters.
Okay. So it's literally like how the anime is kind of doing, like chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, huh?
Yep, that's exactly. It follows along very, very well.
Okay.
Yeah, it basically, without going too far, which I'm going to, it elongates pretty much everything. More in-depth conversations. The rumbling is more in-depth. It just happens a lot greater of a scale, stuff along those lines. There's no absolute changes except for at the, I don't even want to call the ending an absolute change, but there is a difference in the ending.
Okay.
But to go back to part 1, so the first change is Mikasa offers Annie new ODM gear that she had been practicing with Reiner So she talks about giving the old ODM gear to her because she was comfortable with it, but in the manga she was giving her new stuff that she was already practicing with Reiner with.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say I don't remember Ani actually getting new gear because she wasn't planning on even being part of the deal anyway.
She was kind of wishy-washy, but then she made the decision to not go. So she basically, how the manga made it seem was like she wasn't sure, so she was going to kind of go through the motions, and then her ultimate decision was to not go.
Okay, yeah, right.
There is nothing that says anything otherwise besides the fact that she was practicing Rhina's new ODM gear. One line. That's literally it. So not
Okay.
Another thing is Levi calls Hanji 4 eyes, not 3 eyes. It might be a translation thing.
Maybe, but yeah, the anime was definitely 3 eyes because I definitely caught on to that. And it took me a minute. I'm like, why is she calling him 3 eyes? That doesn't make any sense. But that's because she's wearing an eye patch. So in the manga, he calls her 4 eyes?
Yeah, he calls her 4 eyes.
Interesting. Okay.
Then you see Annie thinking about her dad, all her other comrades, and then Armin when she's thinking about what she lost when they're on the boat and she's talking to the philanthropist woman on the boat about all the things they lost.
I'm running a little bit of a blank on that.
It's still on part 1. So Annie, Gabi, and trying to blank on the other. So the guy who turns into the bird, Falco, and then the woman. So the one that's not actually from the island.
Oh, the one, I know which girl you're talking about, but like she was like the head of the estate of the place where the flying boat was at.
Yes.
Right. Oh, right here. Kiyomi Azumbito.
Yeah, sure.
Kiyomi.
So yes, it was Kiyomi. There's just so many characters. It's kind of hard to keep them all straight. But it was during that conversation, they kind of have a thought process, you could almost say. And you're seeing Annie having a flashback, not really a flashback, but like who she's thinking about is all of her friends, her dad, and then specifically it is Armin. You can more tell the love that she has for him.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I didn't really pick up on that in the anime. Like she was just kept to herself and Armin was the one that was making all the little suggestions that he was really into her.
Yeah, but she was blushing and stuff, so you could tell that she reciprocated.
Yeah,
but yeah. And then the moment between the Eldians and the Marlians doesn't happen until after the group is on Falco flying back to the fight. So in the anime it happens prior to, and then like you don't see them again until basically it's all like until after they come back and they're getting transformed.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So it's just kind of swapped where that part happens. So after Eren has been killed and the group of Eldians is going back to Paradis, they're having their conversation on the boat. They talk about how Historia will protect them when they go to Paradis for peace talks. So that's how they're so sure that they will be safe going back. And it's because Historia has basically said they're going to be safe.
Okay. Yeah, they didn't say that in the anime.
No.
Everything was pretty random and unknown. So.
Yep. This is the part that starts getting different.
Okay.
So the biggest difference is you see the world getting rebuilt around the tree Eren was buried under. Like structures, actual structures getting built, not just. So we're talking probably hundreds of years into into the future.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's much later.
You see Mikasa grow old and die.
They kind of show that in the anime. It was really quick. You had to like really understand it.
Because I think they only showed her hand, right?
Shit, now I have to actually remember. I
think-
remember that she was looking at his grave and then like she just died and then essentially her grave got put right next to his.
Yeah, that doesn't happen. You don't see that.
Oh no?
No. Then you see a war with like missiles and basically a modern war. So
Sure.
another great period of time has happened and it flattens the world. So kind of full circle.
Wow. Okay.
And after the world was flattened, the tree where it all began stood the tallest. So the only thing that stood were a handful of trees, and the one tree was the thing that stood above all else.
Okay, so like a form of symbolism just to show that Aaron's tree was the most important one in the end.
Well, the original tree. So we're talking about the tree where Halluciniga, that tree, where she appeared.
Oh yeah.
Where it
okay,
appeared. Sorry.
going that original tree.
The original tree. So so full circle, yes, but a different kind of full circle where, the world gets destroyed anyways. Doesn't matter what Aaron did or did not do. The world still gets destroyed and everything kind of just repeats itself.
Okay, crazy.
But then you see that kid again.
The kid?
Yeah, so remember from the end, you see the kid you see somebody walking into the tree or like being curious about the tree.
Oh, okay.
At the very end, you see that.
Okay.
So interesting. Similar, but not quite the same.
Finally, I was trying to think of Ymir. Ymir is the one who went into that tree.
Yes. But yeah, that's all I got. Not a whole lot. Not super significant changes except for the ending is quite different.
Yeah, it is interesting that they kind of left out like nuclear war to a degree. Maybe that's like too on the nose for current times right now, but I could understand why we went from like old school, no special weapons and having the powers of ungodly titans to going back to nothing and then technology making nuclear weapons.
Yeah, I think it also, I can't say that it's more, I don't know. I don't want to say that it more finalizes the ending because essentially the ending is still the same. The very end is still the same where the kid's walking into the tree and it could all repeat itself. But I kind of feel like that's the point, that it doesn't matter what you do. If you don't change anything, it's going to repeat itself anyways.
Okay, well, that's curious about something you said about restarting everything, because the only reason all of this started to begin with was because of that worm-like thing, hallucigenia.
Yep.
And in the anime, we didn't see the actual destruction of this worm. Like, we didn't see it die, we didn't see it disintegrate, or anything along those lines. Did we get any kind of word or panels from that from the manga?
It's the same. It's implied because all the Titans' power is gone,
right?
And that is the source of the Titans' power,
right?
So that's kind of what I take it as, because they don't have abilities anymore. There's just it's gone,
right? So my assumption, because I tried doing a quick video of this on YouTube a while back, and that was my biggest question: was what happened to this big ass worm? Because they didn't really show anything.
Yeah.
And just to recap it all in this moment right here is, because all of the Titan powers are officially gone, I think it's fair to assume that this hallucigenia thing is also completely destroyed. But I guess on the other hand, it could just means that it went into some kind of hibernation thing or something. It could just be in another deep dark tree, just like when Ymir found it all those thousands of years ago.
I want to say it is completely finished, because it would just be,
yeah.
I know what you're saying, but it would kind of cheapen the whole series. If
100%. To leave it open to a round 2 of Attack on Titan like that. No, yeah, I think that means it needs to be a clean break, and everything needs to be known that Attack on Titan is officially over. There can't be another wave.
Yes. Speaking of another Attack on Titan, there is talk about a spinoff of Levi, like his upbringing.
Oh, really? This is news. Okay, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. I'm like, oh man, that'd be a really fun manga to pay attention to.
Sure. Yeah, because dude's a badass, and he's always been a badass.
Yep.
Even until his final battle.
With 2 fingers.
Yeah. Insane.
So let's get into this. Because we haven't talked about this series at all on the podcast, I'm going to leave this for both the series and the conclusion. Did you have a favorite moments?
A favorite moment?
Yes.
I thought about this a little bit too, and at first I was very upset about it, but then I
Okay.
grew to actually like it. And I'm gonna stick a little bit to the finale,
Okay.
and I'm just gonna pull from there. Like, I guess I really enjoyed the fact that there was like 100 Titans on the back of Aaron's like Ultimate Titan, and I didn't like it at first because I didn't like how there just so happened to be more than the original amount of Titans.
So you're talking about when he is like, oh man, kind of the worm looking Titan thing where he's got his body and it's during the rumbling.
Yeah, and he's
Okay.
crossing the ocean, and he's made it over back on the land, and they're attacking. They're trying to flatten everything.
Yep.
And yeah, so Aaron's got like a basic, not an infinite, but he's got all the past lives of the other Titans sitting on him.
Yep.
So I didn't like it at first because I thought it was too much anime logic going in.
Okay.
But I really appreciated their explanation onto why they were there. And more so, I liked the variations of every Titan. And I'm glad they went that route instead of just copy and pasting 20 versions of the same exact Titan.
I agree. Seeing all of the other Titans was really cool. I really
Right.
didn't get the, oh man, like the pig thing. Oh man, what'd they call it? The thing that
it's-
swallowed Armin.
Yep, I think it's in my notes. Oh, copy.
Okay, yes. That was super weird because it was like a beginning cart Titan kind of thing, but it wasn't. So
Yeah, I don't think anybody has an official stance on what kind of Titan that could be. Because I tried listening to other people talk about it, and it's kind of like a split between like a beast, a cart, or a jaw Titan, but its jaw isn't like fully developed to be badass enough to be a jaw Titan.
yep. Yeah,
But
it
the
was just
beast Titan
weird.
wouldn't make sense either. I don't know. It's an oddball. And here's something that I don't think I ever heard anybody else talk about. That Okapi, I was very, very thrown off by because I'm pretty sure that Okapi was shown in a previous episode somewhere in another. I don't remember exactly where. I have to rewatch like the entire series, but I'm pretty sure I remember that Okapi making an appearance running through a jungle. Do you have any memory of that?
No, I
Oh,
don't.
okay.
I am not
Okay,
the person
maybe
to ask.
maybe one of our listeners might remember. Otherwise, future me, when I go through an inevitable rewatch of the entire series, I'm gonna remember that moment. I swear I've seen that Okapi before.
Maybe?
Too much deja vu. That's for something that was supposed to be brand spanking new.
Yes.
I feel like I just know I've seen it before.
Well, also, Attack on Titan does that all the time where it's like, oh, you missed this. Oh, you missed this. And you're just like, you're right, I did. I missed all of those. They were right in my face.
Right? You weren't supposed to know at the time.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that kind of writing because it makes it very interesting on the watch, like the second time you watch it through, because you're like, oh, crap, I didn't notice that the first time. That's really awesome.
Right. Did you end up having a favorite moment out of the finale or the entire series in general?
For the finale, I will say I'm glad Mikasa was the one that did it, was the one that
Yeah.
eventually killed Aaron, because if it was going to be anybody, it needed to be her. For a long time, I thought it was going to be Levi that was going to do it, kind of a mentor protege kind of thing.
Sure.
But I'm glad Mikasa was the one that did it. I'm glad she never got powers, all this other stuff. She was just a regular person essentially.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
So I really enjoyed that. As far as the whole thing, I'd probably say just my most memorable moment would be the first time you see the Beast Titan.
The very first time.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a long time ago. My memory is saying that he just showed up in the forest and he probably murked everybody. Do you remember how all that went?
I think so. And he was talking.
Yeah,
I'm
talking. Yeah, that threw me off.
I'm pretty sure he was saying stuff and then just started murking everybody. I think it was on the edge of the wall was where he shows up the first time.
Was it? Okay.
I think. And then he just starts murking everybody on the wall.
Yep, gonna need a rewatch.
So I'm kind of, I don't know if I want to say I'm kind of surprised you didn't pick like the first time you saw the Titans, because you watched this when it was new,
Right.
like
Yeah.
season 1.
Yeah, and I went and looked up a little time frame. For anybody who's curious, the manga started September 9th, 2009, and the anime started in September 28th of 2013. So the anime itself lasted 10 years. Actually, I didn't even look when the manga finished. finished?
Through the power of the internet, I will find that out. April 9th, 2021.
21. Okay, so there's a 4-year difference between the starting of the mediums and a 2-year difference between the ending of them.
Yep.
Okay.
So I guess oh, sorry. Continue with what you were saying.
Well, so back to how you were thinking my favorite moment was going to be the beginning introduction of all the Titans.
Yep.
Did you mean episode 1, things just going fucking tits up and everything going to hell with the outer wall, or
that, or the first time you see like the armored Titan?
Right, like basically episode 1.
Yes. Yep.
I mean, that's 100% what drew me in.
Okay.
Seeing these big ass monsters just wreaking havoc, killing everybody and destroying everything. Yeah, because of the armored Titan, I was drawn in and I needed to know what was going on with this.
Yeah, I guess it was also 10 years ago, so it's hard to be like, yeah, that's my favorite moment 10 years ago.
Right. So I figured I was just going to go with the most, recency bias kind of thing, just choosing something new.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. For anybody that doesn't remember, I don't think I started watching this until like 2 years ago. Actually watching it.
Yeah, so you're a lot more fresher than I am.
Yes, and I actually stopped on episode 77, so then I had to like rush through because I started watching it again when the last episode launched. And yeah, it did not take me very long because I knew it was over. I could push through like all the political stuff that I didn't really appreciate.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
Made it easy.
That stuff took a long time. But let's get back to the core of this episode, which is the final episodes, the part 1, part 2. What did you feel was the tempo of everything between the rumbling in special 1 and leading into the battle on Aaron's back, and then part 2 being the finale of the back and basically the conclusion of the entire series? Like, give me your roller coaster of potential emotions on what you thought about everything.
This was essentially a long movie and it was really good. Emotions all over the place. Watching those 2 kids just get obliterated by the falling buildings, like the pieces of the buildings.
Oh, sure.
And so you've got that, and then you've got the roller coaster of just the fight on the Titan. What is Aaron's final form? Is that
I think it's called like the Founding Titan.
Yeah. There we go. So the fight on the Founding Titan was really good. I really enjoyed it. I don't know how I feel about them just being like, yeah, I don't appreciate this, and them not fighting back anymore and kind of helping. I thought that was a little bit of anime logic, but it is whatever, because if that didn't happen, they would have never won. Like, it would not have worked. So I guess plot armor kind of stuff. Not really.
Yeah.
Which is okay, because as I said, I enjoyed the ending, or at least how the rumbling stopped. I thought it was good. I thought the fight was really good. I thought as a whole it worked. So yeah,
right.
I had no issues with it. What about you?
Oh, I mean, I thought it was amazing the entire way through. I was drawn in at all times. There's so many weird little things in between. Like, all I wanted was pure action, and they kept throwing in some more thicker, more dense information to add to the story. I'm like, oh, this is so freaking weird. I already feel like we have enough, but of course there's never enough. You get to find out like the craziness behind Ymir and like how screwed up yet she is, even more than we thought she might have been.
Yep.
How she was obsessed with the old king. She was, enslaved to him. Yes, she still loved him. And
ripping out her tongue. I was like, fuck.
Oh my, yeah. I know the animation style of Ymir and her like crossed out eyes was to show that like she was basically like dead inside or something like that.
Mhm.
But then to have her tongue ripped out so she couldn't talk, and which also threw me out through a loop, because if she had these Titan powers within her, she has the ability to regenerate. So why is her tongue not growing back?
If it was ripped out beforehand, would it come back?
I don't know. Maybe that's just some anime logic right there too.
I'm gonna go with, if it's a pre-defect, you don't get it back.
It's a pre-existing condition. It doesn't fall under the protection of of the Titan power.
Which I bet you anything, there's people that are like, yeah, this guy had like half his body ripped off and then became a Titan, and he grew it all back. It's like, oh, well, I tried.
Okay, well, we got to remember that when Armin became the Colossal Titan, he was basically a useless pile of flesh sitting on that roof, and they turned him into a Titan, and then they turned him into the Colossal Titan. So his pre-existing condition was basically death.
But he had all his body parts.
But he had all his body parts. That's true. No, he was burnt to a crisp, wasn't he? Also, Yeah,
think
because
so.
okay, yeah, so he should have came back looking like Deadpool or something.
But he still had his body parts. They can
Yeah.
everything can come back. He does explode, so he doesn't have skin when he blows up.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. Just there's enough anime logic.
With
But back
too
to
much,
Ymir.
yes.
Too much anime logic. Back to Ymir. Like she's just crazy.
Yep.
And it was so confusing trying to figure out why she was considered so important and why she was still sticking around in the very end. She's gathering up all these sand sculptures of these guys, and like that's like the shape of these titans. That's kind of how I took it. And she's forever rebuilding them to keep on going with the titan powers. And then in the very end, the only brain that she wanted to truly understand was Mikasa. And that was very confusing because
So you don't have a theory on
why?
So you don't have a theory. Okay. So
okay, so hit me with your theory.
So the reason why they were on the same wavelength is that they still loved the person no matter what horrific things they were doing to them and the world, because the king essentially did the same thing. He was willing to destroy the world and use her, and she still loved the king.
Okay, so much like how Mikasa still loves Eren even though Eren told her to fuck off.
Yep.
Okay, so, I like that.
Because it's like a true love kind of thing, not just I don't know. I'm not going to go too much deeper than that. So we'll just say that.
It's almost kind of like unconditional love. Like that's why we don't have to talk about too much, because that would be we can get into that.
So that's my theory as to why she felt like emotionally connected to Mikasa, was because they essentially had similar feelings towards the ones they loved.
Sure. Hey, real quick, I'm looking at some of my notes, and I wrote down the female Titan can evolve Titans.
Yep.
I remember them making that comment, and that's obviously why I wrote it down. Do you have an explanation for that one?
A woman? That's really all I got.
The bringer of life is allowed to allow evolution?
Kind of, because she'll take in and mutate stuff.
I mean, I'm just throwing out shit at that point. But yeah, in part one of the specials, they had mentioned that the female Titan is important and can help evolve Titans, and that's why Falco grows wings and can fly, is because of her somehow. Okay, listeners, if you happen to know, please leave a message or a comment and let us know, because that would be very interesting to know.
Yeah, I've got nothing, because I don't even remember them talking about that until that moment.
Yeah, it was super quick too. It was like at the very end.
Yeah, they just sprang it on us, and she was like, "Oh yeah, they used to feed me everything," and I'm like, "Wait, what? Where did this come from?" Okay, so I'm not the only one.
Okay. Oh, another one of my favorite quotes. I don't know the quote per se, but when Armin is talking to Ani on the boat, Armin's like, if I'm good, then that word is useless because he's killed so many enemies and so many comrades alike that good is only used to benefit someone in that
Very
sense.
powerful saying. It's just like the good guys are always the winners, because you're not going to say you were the bad guy if you won the war. So kind of the same thing. Like the Jaegers would have said that the Titans are the most important thing ever because, well, they won the war, but they didn't win the war. So, they're not.
Yeah. It was just a very profound statement to throw out there. Like, because just like you said, it's the good guys are always the winners, and that's how history is going to know them.
Yep. Another important topic. Did you have a favorite character? Again, either from the series or from this final episoeds?
Just in general, it is way too hard to not say Levi.
Yes.
Levi is way too OP. He's just a superhuman. He's just so amazing. I'm glad they never turned him into a Titan, because there would be no need. He's a Titan killer just the way he is. So
it would have been nice if they turned him into a Titan at the end so he could get all of his digits in his eyes and his eye.
Just make him go back to normal. Yeah. Turn him into a Titan just for like the last 10 minutes, and then have Eren just completely kill everything just so that he's just normal again.
Yeah, he gets caught in that mist, turns into it. Could you imagine if Levi would have turned into a Titan? He would have been like a super special breed of Titan.
It's a whole different breed. That would have been super crazy. I think I might have shed a tear if Levi got caught in that mist in the end.
Yes.
Because I did feel so sad for everybody that got caught, and the select few that did zip away from everything got away.
Yeah.
That was a very weird scene that that fucking hallucigenia, that worm, had that defensive mechanism to do something like that. That was such a crazy scene. But before we continue any more random conversation, did you have a favorite character, I guess, other than Levi?
Yeah, Levi is way too easy to be like, yep, awesome, great person. I really, there's so many characters too. Like if you go through a character sheet, you're scrolling and they don't even give
Definitely.
you everybody. Honestly, you kind of feel for Aaron because just everything he went through. And then Mikasa was a really awesome character. She definitely had some annoying moments.
Yeah,
And
just in her obedience kind of way.
yeah, Armin, he had some really good moments. He's kind of annoying, but he had some good moments. Rhina was really good. I really enjoyed him.
Yeah, I definitely appreciated Reiner a lot more towards the second half of the final season. I guess just
Yeah,
in general.
once you really got to know him and understand everything, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, no, that makes complete sense.
Yeah, he's not just some guy they plucked to be some super secret weapon. Like he has his own regrets and his own problems and his own family issues. And then he's just so exhausted at the end of everything. You just start feeling bad for him.
Yeah, he's really out to protect everybody that he cares about, and you're like, man, you can feel for this guy.
Uh-huh.
So I would say it was Aaron until was that season 3 when he turns evil and just kind of annoying. He's
Yeah,
like your atypical emo high school kid,
definitely.
even with the hair.
Yeah.
And then Rhina for like the last part. I really liked Rhina at the end.
Yeah, I agree. I'm almost kind of surprised you didn't throw Sasha a quick bone, just because there's plenty of other episodes you choose the Eater as your favorite character.
She I didn't like how she died.
Oh, just straight up random ass dying from Gabi just being shot in the plane.
Yep.
Just like a fucking it's not even, it's like the opposite of a petty death. It's like a random ass oops, you're dead.
It was like in the moment, it was like, oh fuck, that really just happened right now. But then
Yeah.
like after
Yeah,
time,
right.
you're just like, she really died for nothing.
For nothing. They're basically in the middle of a celebration, and then bitch ass Gabi's guys sneak on and fire one off and then kill such a nice girl.
Yep.
Destroys the mood of everything.
Yep. And then like it really doesn't give Gabi any sort of character development because she feels bad, but it's like if she would have just went, which she did, she would have changed her perception of parody anyway, so it didn't really matter. So yeah, Sasha dying was literally for nothing. Because I'm trying to think.
Another character I grew to appreciate a little bit more. Like I always kind of liked her, but like I just grew to respect her more and more as the series continued. Was Hanj.
Okay.
She was so interesting for so long. She was creepy, crazy, but you really appreciated her enthusiasm for everything. And then her sacrifice at the end of part 1.
Yes.
It felt like obviously it was needed because they needed to slow down the rumbling just a little bit, but damn, it sucked that it had to be her because she's already sacrificed so much.
Yeah, she sacrificed a whole eye. Come on.
Yeah,
And then she never really got to find out anything about Titans.
Yeah, nothing officially. I mean, it was nice that she was always like that scientist that was just trying to get everything figured out, and in the end, she was one of the last sacrifices to make sure everybody can live, or at least the last 20% of humanity could live.
Yeah. So, was there anything you didn't like about the ending of this? Like, what'd you think of the ending?
Oh, okay. As insanely beautiful as the final scene of Aaron's life was, with Levi and Mikasa zipping around Aaron and throwing their thunder spears, blowing everything up, dodging everything. It was super beautiful and so well choreographed. I loved it all. But at the same time, I wish Aaron's final moment wasn't getting his tooth broken open and then getting his head sliced off. I felt that, I don't know. I'm a little torn because I get it, but at the same time, like, I don't know. Because I also thought I'm also not quite liking how Aaron went into a colossal titan form to fight Armin in his colossal form. So it's colossal versus colossal, and like I know Aaron can probably tap into Ymir's powers, and that's why he was probably able to enter the colossal form. But like, I don't know. I get it. But at the same time, we haven't seen Aaron in his attack form in a while. I don't know. My mind was just going everywhere. I don't know what I want. All I know is I'm satisfied with how it ended, but I don't know if I liked it per se.
Okay.
And then I don't know if I like transforming Titans? Because if the Beast Titan can transform, then that should basically open up an avenue for every Titan to have like a second evolution, a second stage. So I would
they
like to
only-
see more.
They can only basically once you transform into is what you transform into when you become the Beast Titan. So Falco would always be the bird when he
Right.
transforms.
Right. But what I'm saying is like, much like how a Pokemon evolves, not like a Digimon where you can jump back and forth, but like a Pokemon where if you evolve, you're stuck that way. The Beast Titan was the only one that had a second evolution. No one else really got an evolution, a whole different form or.
I wouldn't say he got a different form because Falco can only change into the bird. So I guess I don't know what you're saying by a second evolution.
Was Falco always a bird?
Yeah, because Falco, so when he first transformed, he really didn't turn into anything, just kind of a jaw. And then, or no, he hadn't turned into anything at that point.
Yeah, I guess not. Yeah, now that we're talking about this, because I remember the Jaw Titan.
Yep.
And he was somebody else. And then I
Yep.
totally forgot that Falco 8 had to eat him in order to get his abilities. So yeah, of course it's not going to be the same exact Jaw Titan.
Yep. And it's not going to be the same Beast Titan because, well, obviously it's not the same.
Right. And it's throwing me off because it's making me remember that was his first time transforming into a Titan, right?
Yes.
And
yeah, because they even say it's like you really want to do your first time on the boat, it's going to be miserable.
Right. That because we all know that everybody's first time turning into Titans, they're basically going feral. They're crazy. They can't control themselves. But here we are with Falco, and he could control himself just fine.
Because it's anime logic, because it's not actually his first time. It is his first time. So it's his first time without the Beast Titan, but it's technically his second time because the first time is without the Beast Titan.
Oh wait, is he the Beast or the Jaw?
So he's both, because Zeke is dead after the first time.
Right. Okay, yeah, this started to jog my memory.
And then the first time, quote unquote first time, he transforms with Zeke's Beast Titan ability is on the boat. So it's anime logic where yes, it's his first time, but it's not actually his first time.
Okay.
So yeah, as an ending, it's good, but you're unsure if that's how you would have liked the ending to be.
Yeah, I like it, but I don't know how much more I could have changed. Is there anything you didn't like?
I didn't like the fact that they changed it from the manga.
Oh yeah, you didn't like it?
I would have appreciated the full circle moment because this series got so deep at the end that they should have kept it that way. It almost cheaped out the ending by not making it go full circle.
Yeah. Yeah, that would have been interesting to finalize it that way. I mean, I know the author officially wanted to change it, but...
Yep. I don't mind the anime ending because it kind of shows that Eren didn't do everything for nothing.
Right.
But in all actuality, he did. Because it doesn't matter what he did. The world still gets destroyed, whether he does it or somebody else does.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of funny. Maybe that's why he wanted it changed so that, you're not pulling a Final Fantasy VII and killing everyone off anyway.
Yep. So I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the anime ending. If I could change anything, it would be I would have rather the full circle moment, but that's nitpicking because this ending was good.
Yeah.
I will say I got goosebumps seeing the end at the very end.
Yeah, just so that we know for sure that they're not going to throw in one more random ass final chapter.
Final chapter part 7. It's like what happened to 3? Yes. So yes, I had no issues with the ending.
So when it came down to it in the final episodes, did you end up feeling for Team Eren or were you against him?
So Team Genocide or not Team Genocide? Right.
Yeah. So did you want the rumbling to trample all of the world, or did you want to let all the devils live?
Man, because I know what the ending is, I'm curious what would have happened if not for the rumbling getting stopped. So alternate universe, I'm kind of Team Eren because I know what happens and the world gets destroyed anyways.
Just out of curiosity?
Yeah, complete curiosity.
Okay. Maybe that could even be its own spin-off.
Yeah, that would be like a what if series. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, just have 1% of civilization left over.
Yep.
And then those very specific people have to live 4-year cycles of carrying on the Titans, and that would be fucking hard.
Figure it out. Find a way.
Yeah, that's a lot of baby producing.
So I can't be Team Aaron because of the way he did it. Like if he
Right.
wouldn't have pushed Mikasa and Armin so hard, like pushed him away so hard, been so just woe is me kind of thing, which I mean he explained it. He was like, I didn't even know what was going on, which was kind of annoying, but nitpicking again. I couldn't be for Team Aaron. What about you?
No, just out of my own sanity, the destruction of the world, just can't go with it. I mean, I understand if it's for the ultimate better, if we get rid of whatever X amount or X% of the world. I mean, I can get that evil logic, but at the same time, the process of doing so, no. And there was another thing that threw me off was like Aaron always knew past, present, and future at like almost all times. Not at all times, but there's moments where he understood the past, present, and future because they were trying to get into that a little bit.
Nope.
And like Aaron knew the ending and he knew that he was going to die in this way, but he still had to be like a cold-shouldered ass about it all.
Right?
I don't know. I get it, but like maybe you're supposed to hate him.
Why couldn't, if he knew his friends were going to do it, why couldn't he just make his friends like him?
Like him, or yeah,
I
don't know.
Couldn't be nice to his friends.
I don't know. I guess the only way I can accept this is the author wanted us to hate him for this.
Yeah, I can see that. I understand where Aaron's coming from, but can't be for him.
No. Yeah, so that's where I am. Yeah, not Team Aaron.
All right,
And
so
you feel the same kind of too.
No Team Genocide, unless it's a alternate universe, and then I'm for Team Genocide.
Sure, yeah, just for shits and grins.
Yes, but I think that's all we got for this episode of Anime Lounge Podcast. Please make sure to check out the Animaze show on Facebook and Instagram. Also, make sure to check out our YouTube series, Anime Lounge Short Flights, where we review / talk about a bunch of the upcoming animes that are out during the current season. Make sure to subscribe, drop a comment, let us know what you think of this episode, and leave a like on whatever platform you listen to us. Have a good one, everyone.
Later, guys.